Hello, true art believers, and welcome to today's live art stream. This is Pearson here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm here in Florida. I got just a short amount of time before I have to end this live stream, just like every one of my live streams, really. They all have to be very short, sweet, full of mistakes, but that's one of the more endearing things of all of them. So today we're going to be we're just going to be sketching some images, references. We're going to be using some source material from George Bridgman's Complete Guide to Drawing from Life. And I like to use this as a study guide of sorts. And it's one of like my little side projects that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. One of the goals I want to do is to actually draw every one of the drawings from this book right here. And also write down all the text in there. I don't know if it has any. I don't know if it's going to mean anything, but it's just seems like a nice little thing to kind of say, "Hey, look, look what I did. I drew and I wrote the entire complete book into a sketchbook, and just the act of doing that has maybe some weight or maybe some merit. I don't know, but we'll see. So we're just going to kind of draw for about 28 minutes and then call it a day and talk about the drawing or talk about the day and talk about life, etc. All right, so I'm good. I got my coffee here. I'm going to have a little sip of coffee before I begin. I have to exaggerate the noise just so you know that I'm actually sipping coffee. Oh, it's so hot too. So what I'm going to do for the next 28 minutes or so is just kind of draw from this book here, George Bridgman's Complete Guide to Drawing from Life. If you don't have it, I would suggest getting it. I would even suggest getting the hardcover as opposed to the soft cover. It's just that I think there's a big difference to buying the hardcover and the soft cover. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get I'd get both. I would get like the hardcover to kind of like just have to like as to read from, but I would definitely have the soft cover to do studies like this. I find that having soft cover books for like these type of exercises is better than a hardcover book because they fold better. So I'm just going to draw this page right here. It's one of the more interesting pages out of the book that I'm going to kind of just play around with and learn a little bit. And it's nothing new for me to kind of do like anatomy studies like this. The only thing that's new, actually not new, that I know is very familiar with me is my ability to forget how to draw anatomy over and over again. And so I'm just going to do some warm-ups here and maybe talk a little bit and so forth. So I would say I'm like on vacation. So I'm out of town essentially, and which lends basically has its own inherent like trials and difficulties when you're doing live streams like this. And one of the main things I'm struggling with is where do I don't have like a nice like setup to hold my iPhone. This is much better than last night. Last night was terrible. So we're upgrading of sorts with regards to how to do a live stream when you are basically out of town. And it's giving me some ideas on what I need to do. If I have to ever do this again, I'm going to have to do some research and find some sort of like iPhone stand or some sort of rig that allows me to hold my iPhone without in a variety of situations, like something that's more universal, something that allows you to put your iPhone in a rig that holds it so that it allows you to do a live stream. And it's something that's a little bit more universal because these tripods I have are not really meant to do the thing that I'm doing. They're really meant for like, they're like meant to have the camera facing horizontally, not vertically, not pointing down, and they're not meant for this type of thing here. So I'm drawing the arm here. The I don't know. I don't remember what the bone is. Maybe there's some information here. I forgot. What is the bone? The humerus? Is it the humerus? But yeah, the humerus. And then you got the radius and ulna. I'm kind of just drawing like a gestural drawing of what this is right here, and kind of put like a little bit of detail here for like this could be like a bone structure here. And I might draw it again. Let's draw it again because that was a good study, a little practice run. And then maybe this time I draw it so I'm a little bit closer to what I'm seeing. There's this little area right here, like kind of curves out here. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called a protuberance. I think these little ridges that pop off the bone are meant as anchors for like muscles. So I think the reason why when you ever see like bones that you ever look at bones and they have this, or you look at bone illustrations, they always have like this bump ridge. I believe that is a protuberance. I don't know. I believe it's supposed to be like an area that tendons are supposed to attach to. I don't really remember fully. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be quite wrong on this. I don't remember the anatomy as much as I'd like to, which is why I'm always reintroducing it to my studies. I'm always kind of doing just very bad, poorly done studies of anatomy, just to remind myself, because I'm slow to learn and I'm even faster to forget. Like I'm a slow learner, but I forget things really quick, which is like a double-edged sword. You don't want to be like me. You don't want to be a slow learner, but also a person that just like forgets things as soon as you don't use them anymore. You want to be a fast learner, and you want to be a person that remembers the things that you learn. Because I'll forget. I will forget in a heartbeat. I don't know why. It's just like maybe it's an out of sight, out of mind type of thing. When you're not using the thing that you're trying to, when you're not applying it on the day to day, I guess you just kind of forget it. I think I heard some people like will learn how to bicycle, and then they go into adulthood and they don't bike forever and ever. I'm gonna drink some coffee here. And then they try to bike again and they can't do it. They can't do it. They like literally forget it. I think that stuff is a little bit different. I think that has to do with, I think muscle memory is a little bit different than forgetting like facts. And that's spelled F-A-X. No, it's facts. 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 It's facts. I'm not enunciating the act part on facts. I don't know. Facts. Anyways, I'm being silly. So I think I kind of done enough right here on this doodling right here. Let's kind of move around some more. We're gonna just kind of draw a little bit more. And I think one big big goal of mine for these live streams is I think to get enough followers or subscribers. But I think another big goal would be a real big goal, a milestone for me would be able to do a live stream that is longer than 30 to 40 minutes, because I'm beginning to like kind of sense that the live streams, the ones that are really successful, are the ones that are done for an extended period of time. We're talking like post 2 hours, and that would be great because that's when I start really getting in the drawing zone. And I think that goes for anything. To get to that point of flow you need you need ample amount of time to kind of um, acclimate your mind to the act of doing things, the act of flow. And some people are able to get in 30 minutes. Like if I'm drawing without doing a live stream, I can get into flow within 15 to 30 minutes where I'm just really focused. But when you're doing a live stream, and you're talking and so forth, and there's no, like, I don't have a goal with these live streams. I have not had a goal other than just try my best to do them every day or within a 48-hour period. Perhaps I should define what is a considers a daily live stream. You know, maybe I needed to define that so that when I do miss a day or miss my my time frame, then I can kind of jump back into it. And sometimes what you see, if you see me drawing from this book, and there's like right here, like I'll tend to add things that are not in the frame in the book. Like I'll sometimes add where I think the fingers are going, you know, or add an area that isn't there, you know, to kind of get an idea of how I would add a thumb or part of the pinky or part of the palm of the hand and so forth. That's what I kind of do with a lot of these studies. I don't copy verbatim because for the most part, this is like a pencil or charcoal drawing, and I'm trying to translate it into a a pen and ink drawing. And there's you're taking two different medias and you're basically converting them, and you're making like a, what is it called? Like you're making like an emulation. If drawing was a video game, you're making an emulation of sorts. So you're not really making a direct copy. You're kind of simulating, you're emulating the image that you're working on. And so that's what I typically do with these studies of sorts. Like there's this area right here. I don't know what that is supposed to be referring to. I think this guy, I think Bridgman is supposed to be kind of making an idea, a visual like description of what the elbow kind of looks like in a more blocky form on the back, you know? And so he is making various drawings, like illustrations, to kind of explain how he pictures an elbow on the human figure here. And so if I were to copy this verbatim, I don't think I'd understand it fully if I were to copy it how I'm doing it right now, because I'm copying it kind of like what I see. I'm kind of copying what I see here, but I'm trying to make sense of what the artist is thinking when they're doing this. Like, why are they making this? This feels like a little pad on the elbow, and so forth. And so, like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I chose this page specifically because there's a lot of stuff to do here. There's a lot of like images that kind of unpack. There's a lot of like things I can do studies on without having to turn a page. And I wanted to do that because I don't want to have to turn a page every 5 seconds like I was last time during my live stream. I want to kind of focus on just the page and kind of doodle from the page and learn a little bit in the process, you know, and that's fine too. Like when you're drawing is like for me, drawing is like a metaphor for like, it's like a metaphor for life, you know. And you know, there's days that you're frustrated, days that you could handle things better. Of course, I could handle things better. I probably could have handled things better earlier. You know, if I think about it, I'm just there's this levels of in your life that you can do better. Like I'm kind of doing a little bit of self-reflection about like today. I'm a very organized person. I know where I'm going to be at what time. I know typically what I'm going to be doing at a specific time. And vacations or going out of town throw me off, especially when I have obligations like these live streams, because I don't know when I can do the live stream. Like I know um, if I don't do my live stream at home, I know that if I don't do it, I can still do it at the end of the day after everything's done. When I'm in an environment, a foreign environment like now, I know I find it out quickly that I really can't do my live streams at the end of the day because I don't have access to privacy and access to space, and that's fine, right? You just got to learn how you can deal with that at that point. I guess maybe I could I could find a better. I could think about it differently. Like I could probably plan, or I could probably like think in the future where I could be doing these live streams of sorts. And you know, it is what it is, and that's one of the things you got to deal with. I mean, I guess I could be really negative about it, and like I could be negative about it. It could be a very negative situation, right? And that's not very beneficial. It doesn't help me get these live streams done. Um, and yes, it does take a level of commitment to do these live streams outside of your studio. I would say my where I do my live stream is in a studio, but really it's just a spare bedroom, right? It's not like these fancy these YouTubers, they have like an actual studio. Like you ever see those videos on YouTube, like my $30,000 YouTube streaming studio. I'm like, my computer is 1/30th of the value of just one area of your live streaming studio. And who'd have thought that that'd be a thing, man? Who thought that you could like, oh yeah, 10 years from now, man, I'm gonna have my own YouTube studio and I am gonna be so popular or like fresh. I don't know. I like Bridgman's, by the way, I do like Bridgman's breakdown of forms. He really like he mixes angular forms with curvilinear forms so eloquently, by the way. And if you want to learn from something if you want to learn from a good book, I would definitely suggest getting this book, because I think he's got this is like a you can buy like more in-depth volumes of this. So you can buy like like you can buy like a volume of Bridgman's work just for the heads or just for the arm or torso. That is a more in-depth version of this, because there's more illustrations they use from. My only my only negative side to these books themselves is that the illustrations. I bet you the illustrations, if you saw these drawings in person, they would be so much better. These are kind of like, they feel like they're faded, and they probably are faded. They probably are faded, you know. And that's my only like my negative critique to it. I think what I would like to do is, there's another book called what's it called? It's called like Anatomy for Sculptors, and I hear that's a really good book, but it is amazingly expensive. I think it's like $100. I think it's on like my queue list of books to buy. But what Bridgman is an expert at is mixing these curvilinear forms with angular forms, and those are quite nice to see. You know, it's a very evolved form of drawing, And that's why I like to use, whenever I go in my sketchbook work and do some sketchbook studies, which haven't been as prominent as I'd like them to be. I like to use his books as references to that. And so you'll see me from time to time, if I ever do these sketch drawings in my own sketchbook, I'll draw them over and over again to kind of get an understanding of like what this person was thinking, and also kind of basically get that repetition and learn those forms over and over again. I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it. I'm amateur at best, you know, and that's fine to be able to have the like modesty to claim that you're an amateur at it. But you can also say that I can also say that I'm knowledgeable enough to kind of render these objects a little bit better than the average artist or average person, not artist. I don't know. There's some really good artists out there. I'm probably an average artist as well. So here we go. I don't even know if you can see what I'm drawing. Can you see it? I'm going to move it up a little bit. And we're just kind of drawing the forearms here and so forth. And I might end up drawing like this, whatever this is. I don't know. Maybe this is like a poorly drawn sketch here. There's some stuff right here I might draw. Yeah. And that's that. So we're just going to draw here. And so forth. But man, what's really hard about these drawings themselves is they're, as I said, they're very scratchy. Sometimes there's a sensitivity to the form that you have to really understand anatomy to really know what the artist was trying to define there, and you probably have to know the book that you're studying from like front to back to really address some of these forms here. So there's some challenges here that I have. I'm kind of coming in at a handicap because I'm just kind of jumping in, selecting some pages to kind of render, and then looking at them and kind of doing my own interpretation of it, right? When I should probably start from the beginning. And I have started from the beginning. I have been working on the front for a while, and just taking it's just, whenever to do stuff like that, it just takes time. And it takes time, and it takes some dedication. If you're doing other things, if you have other things going on in your life, it's really hard to kind of do these type of like studies, because it takes a fair bit of like free time to kind of just go and render these things in the evening or in the afternoon, whatever time you're kind of setting aside for these studies. That's one thing I would like to do. I would like to have the availability of time to kind of practice these forms. I really would. I would really enjoy that. I'm going to move pages here just so I don't have to kind of adjust the camera, right? I don't want to have to adjust the camera. I'm going to move pages so that I can draw a little bit of this area and so forth. I'm not going to get much done. So as you can see, like, this stuff is very vague. Like, only in art, if you've studied anatomy and you also studied blocking of forms, you understand this. But like to the layman, to like the new person who doesn't see this stuff on the reg, they're like, what is this? Like, I can kind of see it, right? But what Bridgman is doing here is he's making these these muscles into like more generic blocky forms, and so that's what these are. And so I'm going to render some of them, and this kind of call it a day. Yeah, I'm going to render some of those right there. Again, my hand right. There you go. There we go. So I'm sorry I have to do that. Like, I'm going to do my own version of this, and this time I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I like to do this sometimes, from time to time, is use the marker. You see this in comic books where they use like a blue pencil. Sometimes I'll use like a I'm going to use a wide brush, a gray Prismacolor marker. This thing's like, these markers are old, which shows you how like long you can use them if you're not constantly using them, and they don't dry out, but they last a long time. They like the cap allows for the pigment to stay in there. So I'm just going to kind of do something like this, and we're going to kind of add some of the things that I'm seeing in some of these areas, and kind of give my own spin to it. And then not my own spin, but like kind of figure out how I am seeing the forms that this artist is establishing here. So this is supposed to be the deltoid area. This is supposed to be the top of the arm. He makes that arm flat. They express the deltoid. He exaggerates the deltoid so that he can determine insertion points into the bicep or into the humerus, and he exaggerates the biceps a little bit as well. And that's merely artistic license so that you really establish form. The same thing with the brachialis muscle. There's this muscle right here on the forearm, right, that for an average person is typically not like bulging out of the arm. You know, it's not bulging out, but for Bridgman, what he typically does is he makes it into a very big, large mass onto on the arm, because it helps establish form on the figure, you know. And so that's what he does. That's why he's doing that. You know, there's not like he gives his figures like these Superman these Superman like forearms, and the average guy, you know, doesn't really have that type of like definition on their forearms. So I'm just kind of adding the lines here, doing a little bit of correction from what I drew prior, just to kind of get closer to what I'm seeing, you know, and so forth. And that's what's one of the benefits of like having these markers. What would be even better is probably to have a lighter marker. And I'm actually being very expedient with this. I'm not really again, I'm not too worried about if it's clean work. It's a sketchbook drawing, man. You're here to kind of understand and form and get better. And I really do like seeing other artists and what they do with sketchbooks. They make some artists. They really do some beautiful things in there. I haven't done that type of work, sketchbook work, where it's like it's become its own work of art in like years. Mainly because at the time I was like, what am I gonna do with a really nice sketchbook? I couldn't like sell it, you know. Although I do see some artists selling their sketchbooks, I would have to sell it for a lot. If I had a fully done finished sketchbook, I would have to sell it for like a lot, like a year's salary, because most sketchbooks if you're doing them casually, or if you do them, you know, if you're doing them, they usually take a year to do, especially if you're doing them the way I do them, which is filling up the entire page full of stuff. Like I'll have circles, like I'll do circles inside the gaps of my books, and I'll put like eyes in there. I haven't done, like, I'll draw some eyes every once in a while, you know, and I'll fill everything up with space, with anything. Like that's what I'll do, is I'll fill the entire thing with things until the entire page is filled up. Or I'll practice hatching in every small nook and cranny, because I always felt like you're wasting opportunity to grow if you don't fill up the entire page, even if it's at the detriment of making the book look bad, you know, and that's fine too. So I'm purposely being kind of scratchy, because I'm trying to simulate the scratchiness of Berger's work here with this kind of like loose variation of hatching, and that makes me uneasy personally. But I'll do it from time to time to see how I like it. I don't personally think it works for a pen and ink. I think it works better for here. Maybe it just looks like that because of the degradation of the photo or degradation of the work itself. You know, um, I would love to see what these drawings look like in person because I feel like these scans are not doing the image justice. But anyways, that's it for the day. I just wanted to kind of do a few drawings and kind of talk about things. I might want to draw this area right here. Like this is a nice page. I might have to put a little tag right here and draw that. And I might find certain areas to kind of draw next time. Maybe work on hands. I don't know. Maybe do this and then maybe do some legs, or so forth. I don't know. We'll see. But I got to get going. It's been 30 minutes. And I just want to say thank you for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed me kind of chatting it up and talking about art for a little bit. And really didn't get much done because whenever you're doing these live streams and you're chatting for 30 minutes, you're basically only drawing for like 15 to 20 minutes. So you're not going to get a lot done. I didn't really spend a lot of time drawing. I kind of sketched in between like discussion and in between just talking and so forth. But anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Pearson. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This is the super low tech live stream. Day 354, I think. I don't know. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. Cheers.